Hi everyone, and it's time for another Photoshop Friday. And this week I thought we would start with some actual editing to the image, some proper stuff that you might want to use on a lot of images. So this week we're going to look at skin softening, and specifically skin softening using the Surface Blur tool. First of all, I'd just like to say thank you to Camilla Rose, who is the lovely model in this photo that we're about to edit. I did a shoot with her a few months back and it was absolutely amazing. It was part of a model day at a local studio and she was just brilliant to work with. She was very easygoing, great to sit and chat with while you're working away. And we got a lot done in 2 hours considering how much we actually did sit and talk. So what I'll do is I'll put a link to her portfolio page. She's with Purple Port. She may be with others, but with the Purple Port I'm adding on. If I find the others, I will add them in later. Just for those in the UK that want to book her, or if you want to try and find out if she's wanting to go abroad. I'm sure she's like a holiday somewhere and work all over the place, but I would highly recommend. Anyway, let's get on with the actual edit in hand. So the first step, and I advise you to do this anytime you're editing an image, is to create a new duplicate layer. That way you've always got the background to go back to, but also you can edit that layer and not affect the other layers, and it's called working non-destructively, which I'll touch on in a later video. So the first step then is to go to our filter, our blur, and our surface blur. Now I've already got mine preset at 44 pixels and a threshold of around 41, and you can see how heavy the blur is on there straight away. It's probably a little overdone, but I'm not worrying about that at the moment. So we'll OK that, and we'll sit back and see how long this is going to take. And if it's too long, I'll speed it up. So we're just about done with the surface blur. It's taking a little bit longer. I need to actually do a rebuild on this PC, make it a wee bit faster for me doing video stuff now. And there we are, we're done. So the next stage is to add a mask, and to make the mask black, which you can do quickly on a PC with Control and I. Does an invert, and we're back to the original image. So now we're going to treat this as if we're applying makeup. So if you're a female photographer, you know that you apply makeup, you do lighter in areas that you don't really need too much. You do a lot more. I think it was like adding foundation. I don't know. I'm a guy. But that's basically what we're going to be doing. We're going to be applying it more heavily in the areas that need it and lighter in the areas that don't need it. So that we have control over that. One thing that you could do straight away is just paint all over the skin with a soft brush using white, and then reduce the opacity right down. That certainly is an option, but I find that it works better if you reduce the flow of your brush to around 15%. Or 16% in this case. No, I'll take it down. Yeah, that'll do. And what I'm going to do is just zoom in a bit on the face. There we go. Make the brush a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to start to paint over the face itself. And I can see it needs a little bit more done there. Just going to do it under the eye. This part of the cheek just needs a little bit more. So we can see straight away the improvement that it's starting to make. And using the keyboard shortcuts, which is your square brackets, to increase and decrease the size of the brush, it saves me having to go up and down all the time to there. I can just work very quickly in this area, and as you can see, you've got some areas like here which doesn't need a lot, and you've got other areas like here. Now you notice as well that it's covering up any blemishes quite nicely with this technique, so it basically helps you cut a whole section out if you're happy with this level of blurring. This isn't the normal blurring technique I would use. I would use this maybe if I was doing glamour work, which I don't do a lot of these days. So it's really about what your preferences are. Alright, we're done there. Now you might think this is a wee bit long-winded because you're doing all these different little bits and pieces, and you got to bear in mind though that you want to get it right. You don't want to do anything that's too quick and less control over the image, because at the end of the day you want the image to have your look and feel to it. There's no point in just doing a generic edit to something to every single image, because not every image is going to need the same work done to it. So that is, for me, the face done. We will scroll down and we'll quickly do the arm. Now obviously I'm editing this for the blur like this. I will, as I said before, I don't like personally to use this a lot, especially if I'm doing a portrait shot like this. I like to keep natural tones to the skin. Now the arm to me doesn't need editing at all. The face, other than maybe just a slight cleanup, to me doesn't need done either. So this is again why it's handy having your flow right down to a lower number so that you don't overdo it. So like there, for instance, I can still see some of the freckles coming through. That's basically me finished. Let's zoom out and you can see there the skin soft compared to the skin without. So we can see straight away with this technique there was a few little bumps and probably, you know, there's parts of the features that even you know, most models will probably say, look, you know, remove or whatever. I personally like natural look, so for me that's a little bit overdone. If I was unhappy with that and I want to bring some of the detail back, I could still reduce the opacity down slightly just to start to bring back some of the naturalness to it. But that is a nice simple skin softening technique using the surface blur. So if you've not had much experience with skin softening, I would certainly recommend this as your first step into cleaning up your images. Thanks for watching and come back next week for the next Photoshop Friday.